few weeks ago, Finnian Ashe left behind the only home he had ever known, guided by a strange mark burned into his arm and accompanied by his faithful hound Patch. He stepped beyond the safety of Hollowmere and into a world of folklore, magic, and old mysteries. Since then, the road has revealed its secrets, one piece at a time. A raven spoke of hardship yet to come. A boggart traded luck for a simple meal. And ancient paths led through the forgotten forest where every shadow seemed to hide a story older than memory. But now, that journey has brought Finn to a place unlike any he's seen before. A village draped in grief. A cemetery filled with graves. A creeping corruption spreading through stone and soil. And somewhere in the darkness, something is hunting. And as night fell, Finn and his dog Patch found refuge inside a lonely house covered in strange protective runes. The symbols etched into its walls seem to hold back whatever stalks the village beyond. For now they're safe, but someone lives within these walls. Someone who knows how to make these runes. Someone who has survived whatever has fallen beneath this place. And before the sun rises again, Finn may learn that some curses are far older and far hungrier than he is ever imagined. These curses linger in a legend in the mist. Well, hi, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Grouch Couch. Yes, today we are continuing on Legend in the Mist. Technically, today is episode 2, depending on where you're watching from. And I say, let's continue on Finn's story by breaking it down. But yes, hi, hello everybody, I'm Turk. Welcome back here. We're going to do all kinds of solo RPG things around here, but today is Legend in the Mist. So, I'm really excited to get back into this episode 2. It's been about 2 weeks. You guys have left a lot of awesome comments and ideas and suggestions, which always just blows me away. I really appreciate all the feedback from you guys. It's really cool. And I love doing this rustic story, you know? As much as I've delved into this Legend in the Mist system at this point, I still really enjoy the rustic fantasy setting of Legend in the Mist, which is the best way to tell our druid character story, Finnian Ashe, as his rise to power, to figure out who he is and where he's supposed to go, right? A world laid in mystery. So either way, I want to say thank you so much for joining me on this here adventure. And as you all know, I did get all of my Legend in the Mist stuff early because I did win the Legend in the Mist creator contest, so I will be playing with all this stuff. And again, I will say, all of your guys' stuff should actually be arriving soon. I do believe that Launch Fest just ended this week, and so everything should be slowly getting shipped out, you guys. So keep your fingers crossed, and I can't wait to see all of you guys playing this game and reviewing this game and telling me your stories about your Legend in the Mist. Please join the Discord, tell me your stories. All right, let's talk about this game. Let's debate this game. Could be a lot of fun. Link in description. Yeah. Now, we're not going to do too much of a recap here, all right? Because last time around, Finnian Ashe just was wandering through the old pathways of this ancient forest. He ran into a strange merchant, and that encounter went in weird directions, the encounter with the strange merchant. But it ended up with him having some strange magical cooking pot of some kind that I've got written down here that might lead to something else. There was a lot of folks that were like, that item's for sure cursed in the comments. That item is cursed. He's trying to pawn off cursed items. So absolutely could be. We'll make some rolls later. Secondly, we wandered into a village, a strange village with a graveyard on a hill, and all of the graves were kind of marked with strange runes, and there was claw marks everywhere and weird dark magic. But Finn and Patch passed their skill check and managed to run into a house that someone was letting them in, and this house was also guarded by those magical runes, so they're safe for the night. But we're going to begin by building on our first scene, figuring out who this person is, what this house is, and maybe they might know what is haunting outside, you know? So that's where our story is going to begin. Now, we're here at the top-down camera. I've got everything set up similarly to last time, except I do have a map that does come included with the whole set of everything. This is a map of like the inside of a house. I thought that it would fit our story pretty good today. I also have set up over the past couple weeks a separate dice camera, so this is actually going to zoom into our dice whenever we roll. So as you can see there, we're actually going to be able to see them a little bit better, which is wonderful. I don't know where I'm going to put it on screen yet, somewheres, but I want it to be nice and big so we can actually see the dice. Okay, there we go. Because as much as I absolutely love these acorn dice, the text on them is a little hard to read, all right? So it's good to have a nice little zoom in on those so we can see a little bit better. Now, we are also playing through our solo game loop that we have put together for Legend in the Mist, and you can get this on drive-thru, as I've said before, and I am working on developing out an actual solo RPG book, Solo RPGs for Dummy, and I'm working on that book, so any proceeds that you guys want to donate by picking this thing up on drive-thru will go towards that, so thank you so much for doing that. I really do appreciate it. This thing is not perfect. It's got a couple of spelling errors, and for some reason one of the pages is really blurry. I don't know, but this was like the quick thing I put together, right? This solo game loop thing. I put it together so quick, and it's effective, right? Simple yet effective. It works, and I think that that's what matters. I promise that my other works aren't the same. So, every game we start by starting, right? Our start method starts with the scene. We're going to start building out our first scene. So we got to determine who is here, what is going on, what's happening, right? What is the tone or atmosphere of this area and what is going on? And we could also ask a bunch of yes or no questions. First and foremost, we're going to build out this house. We already know that this house that we went into is covered in these protective runes that is helping stop whatever it is that's out there, whatever evil is out there. It's keeping us safe inside. We know that. But what is it like? You know what I mean? So we're going to be rolling on our roll chart over here. There we go. If I can make it fit a little bit better. There we are. So we're going to be rolling on this to determine what the heck is what. So we're going to get a couple of descriptor words just to learn a little bit more about this house. All right. Get us in the zone. Okay. We're going to put the dice cam right there. That to me looks like a 65. So answers what? And I also suggest, these are like 2 quick little roll charts I put together for this bad boy, but if you want to implement roll charts from other places, there are so many. In my other games, I just bring in roll charts from Mythic, more or less. I love a good scene descriptor roll chart. Okay, but answers what? There's a 43, frozen answered. Okay, so this doesn't really tell me about the house, but it tells me about the person, right? Already tells me about the person. So let's ask some questions about this person. Let's get some yes or no questions going. Is there just one person in this house? And I feel like it would be smart to add in some scene tags here that might adjust this roll, being that this town is cursed and also that we're protected in here. So I kind of just want to remember those. And being that this town is cursed and haunted, I want to give this a +1 to this roll. Like, chances are that it is one person in here, whoever it is. So +1, roll our 2d6. That is a 55 or a 10, which makes it a yes. +1 makes it a yes and. It's one person and what? But also 55 is random event. So let's roll on our random event here. First, yes and, but what? 7, escalation, an escalation event. So I thought maybe we were safe in here, but maybe we're not. Okay. So here's my thought process so far. You guys might like this, you might hate. Finn gets rushed into the house because of the evil spirit that's happening outside. And from the words of answers and frozen, the first thing that immediately comes into my head is that when he gets in here, you always expect the warmth of a hearth, right? That's what Finn expects. There's like a fire going, there's someone who's living in here, but instead as he steps inside, it's cold in here. But not like, it wasn't cold outside, but it's like not homey. It's like cold, but also not lived in. I think as he looks around, before he even looks at the person, he can see that there's a meal that has been untouched for a long time on the table. There's a cup beside it, and like the hot tea that was in the cup is now cold and still. You can see like there's a chair that has been pulled out from this table, like as if someone was eating, stood up to leave, and never came back. So like it's almost like time is frozen in, you know what I mean? And then we ask if it's only one person. We get yes, but we also get and, which means there is yes, only one person living in here, but there has to be also something else that isn't a person. So I'm gonna ask some yes or no questions. In this house, is it bring up your chart here, is it a wounded creature in this house? 2 and a 3, which makes it a 5. No, but. Okay, but is something else, so we're just going to ask another question. It's not a creature, but is it evidence that other people should be here but aren't? Like, evidence that the person who let us in here doesn't live here. That is a 7, so yes, but it's not evidence of one person. It's evidence of like a family. That's what I'm assuming. So there isn't one meal there. There's 2 meals there. There's 2 cups. There's 2 tables full of food. 2 coats by the door. Wait, it just got kind of sad in my head. The person who is still here had a significant other, and now this person refuses to move anything, They're not going to touch the plates or anything. Like, it's the last moment that they had with this other person before they left or were taken or disappeared. It's a sad moment all of a sudden. I was thinking maybe the person in here stole this house, but no, now I'm thinking the person in here lives here and lost their significant other. That's sad. Now we need to determine who this person is. I think the easiest way to do this, because I could roll for, male or female, I could roll for who they are, everything else, all the other stuff. The easiest way to do this, actually, first to get masculine or feminine identity here, is we could actually roll for a random name from our random name roll chart here. So this is a D10 at this point, because we have 10 full suggestions from you guys. So we're going to go on ahead, and we're going to roll a D10. Pull this here. Which one do I want? Black. Okay, D10. That is a 1. Again? And we already used 3 Blind Mice's suggestion for Matthias. Should we re-roll it so someone else could get in a suggestion? I think that might be nice. But if we do another NPC this episode, you could be counted again, all right? I just think doing 2 of the same person in a row, we should re-roll. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Here we go. That is a 7, which makes it 1-up RPG's suggestion. Now we have 3 here, so we're going to roll a D4. We're going to determine which one this is. And if we get a 4, we're just going to re-roll it. That is a 3, which makes it Stumbletoe. Stumbletoe? What in heck? Stumbletoe. I think I want to save Stumbletoe for maybe not a serious moment like this. So we're going to take another one, and we're going to take the one right next to that. We're going to take Wanda. So this person's name is Wanda, and I'm already picturing Wanda as an older woman. And I picture Wanda as kind of like a witchy older woman, you know? She's got like crazy earrings and matted crazy hair. She's probably got some of those runes just painted on her body. Like she's trying to protect herself from whatever it is out there. Okay, now this moves us to the next thing. We're still working through the scene, everybody. So we see Wanda. We clock Wanda. It's a woman. We know that she's lost someone recently and is refusing to clean up. So we know that she was probably in love with that person. We know that that's going on. So now we get our random event of escalation. I don't even think we need to roll on anything extra for this. I think it's kind of explanatory. The threat outside is getting worse. We thought we would have a moment of respite, but we don't get it. The old woman doesn't even have time to explain anything. Whenever Finn enters the door, the runes in the home begin glowing. There's like a bell that starts ringing, and the woman rushes to the shutters. She's like putting down the windows, and Patch starts growling. We even see him like, we'll do it on the map, right in front of the door. Starts growling. And we're standing in here like, what the heck? He's growling at the door, and a scratching sound begins outside on the walls. The danger itself is escalating. Whatever was haunting this village has arrived here now. It has followed us to the house. It wants inside, but it can't get inside. So now that we have our scene built, what kind of check should we make? Well, let's refer back to our PDF. We have our scene built out. We're asking our questions, building everything out. We done did that. Now we got to talk about our task. The thing is still outside, so we're absolutely fine. But I think we need to get to know this woman. But as she throws down the shutters, this straight up means that like we need to be quiet right now. We need to straight up stay quiet. So Finn can't jump to the rescue and try to cook her some food to make her feel better. He can't do that. Does Finn's mark guide him towards evil? Like literally? This is crazy. As we're like, I want to ask a question. Our magical mark, whenever we hear scratching nearby us on the walls, does his mark like, I still imagine it lights up, you know? Like it doesn't only hurt, but it like glows a little bit. Like this red, amber, fiery glow. Whenever it gets close to us, does it glow? Yes or no? I'm gonna put a +1 on it. There's a 1 and a 5, which makes it a 7. 7 is yes, but it doesn't glow a lot. So I'm assuming that he's still trying to figure out his power. But his magic is being activated by possible evil. That is true. Okay, so now we need to calm down this lady. We need to get to know her. We need to talk. So we're gonna make a skill check against just seeing if she'll open up to us and tell us maybe what the crap is going on. So we have natural leader as a tag that we could use, and that's kind of it. So we're gonna make our skill check. Now, as a reminder, 7 to 9 is a success, 6 or less is consequences, and 10 or more is a success. So +1 here. Let's make our roll. It's a 6 and a 3, which is a 9 + 1 makes it a 10, which is a full success. So this woman, we're whispering to each other in here, and she's willing to open up to it. Why? She's willing to open up to it. Does she see the mark on her arm glow? She is an old witchy woman, so maybe she knows something about it, you know? Which is a part of our quest. Uncover the truth about my bloodlines, right here at the bottom. So we might be able to improve this in this situation. Maybe she can tell us something. Let's ask a yes or no question. Does she react to us because of the mark on her arm? I'm gonna call it really likely, because she's witchy. We're gonna give it a +2. Come on now. 5 and 6 is 11. So exceptional yes. So as the creature, we're in this room, in this little house. We could hear the creature scratching on the walls all around us as she throws down the shutters. And we crouch down up against the wall. And as the scratching goes behind our head, Finn looks down as the mark on his arm begins to glow. She sees the glow in the darkness of this cottage. She rushes over and grabs him by the arm and looks up to his face. And she's like, "My boy, who are you? Why do you have this mark on your arm?" And Finn's like, this mark was put on my arm from a mysterious person. I didn't meet him. He said I was meant for higher things and put this mark on my arm and sent me on my way. And now I've been following it, and it's led me here to this, whatever this is. It's good. I could use your help. Probably, right? She could use our help. Why wouldn't she? But our role that we actually succeeded on was to get her to open up, right? So at this point, he probably asked her, like, look, I could use your help. Absolutely. Figuring out whatever this is on my arm. What's going on? I don't know why I'm here. What is that thing outside? Why are you the only one here left? What happened? And then I think she's like, I will tell you. I will tell you, my boy. I will answer all of your questions. But first, there's something that must be tended to. And she just looks at the walls as we hear the scratching all around the house. Does she need something from us first? Does she need our help before she has the time to open up? I think so, yes. So I'm not even gonna roll on that. But what can we do to help improve this scene? What can we try to accomplish to get this thing to go away? She's old and magic-y, right? So she probably has something that will help us in this situation, but for some reason she can't get to it or do it herself. And so I'm assuming what that might be. When we got here, the sun was just about going down. It's probably dark out. Maybe the darkness creature comes when it's dark. Maybe she has some kind of light source, magical light source that might be able to help help scare it away. But she doesn't have it here. Maybe she has some kind of, I'm thinking a light rune or an incantation, maybe some kind of a scroll that she can read from to cast light magic. Maybe she left it somewhere. Maybe she has like a workplace here in town. Yeah, okay, that's what we're gonna go. She's like, my boy, I'm going to distract the thing. I'm gonna pop out the window, and I need you to run over to my herbalist hut. Over there is a scroll. I need you to get it, and I need you to run back with it. You see, I'm old and slow. That's why I can't get it myself. So I need you to go quickly. Finn's young. He could do this. Is there anything we could do that might be able to help us here? Since our tags are always so specific, I always feel boxed in. Like, we have to do something that will, you know what I mean, be according to our tag. We have no athletic tags, no strength tags, nothing like that. So I always feel so boxed in, you know? And so I think whenever we level up with this character, we need to get some more athletic stuff because he is doing running things, right? He is kind of young and spry, which I think being young could straight up be a tag in itself, right? Athletic, just young guy, right? But we do have skilled hands, so being able to run over, get in there and grab this thing. We also have keen senses, so we might be able to see where the thing is. We're gonna give ourselves that tag and skilled hand. We'll see wherever the thing is, be able to plan our route, and we'll be able to see the herbalist hut because of our keen senses a little bit. And because of our skilled hands, we're gonna be able to grab this thing, get it out of there, and get back, right? A little quickly, and we're a little lucky. So we're gonna give ourselves a +3 on this, but she's gonna distract it. I'm assuming she has maybe like some bells all around her house and little strings, right? So she's gonna go over to the corner of the house, she's gonna pull a string, which is gonna ring a bell and get the thing to rush over the thing, just darkness thing. It's even more scary because we don't know what it is. I could have fleshed it out and figured out what it was right away, but I feel like it's more scary because we don't know, you know what I mean? And I enjoy that. So she's gonna, it's just, we know it's got claws of some kind or some kind of metal on it to be able to scratch stuff, but that's all we know. So she's gonna distract it, it's gonna rush over, then we're gonna make our check and we're gonna rush for this herbalist hut. We've got a +3, so hopefully we can make it happen. Right. Oh, I rolled 3 d6s for some weird reason. I think as I was thinking 3 in my head. I'm gonna roll again. Here we go. Whoa, camera glitch. Here we go. The dice landed on its backside. Look, these d6s aren't perfect. So that is a 5 and a 1, plus our 3 makes it a 9. A 9 is a success, but consequence. So we rush out of the house. The door opens, she rings the bell, the thing runs over. We're running and Patch is right behind us. And as we're running, I think Finn trips over something, like the well in the center of town, trips over it, makes a bunch of noise. And then maybe Patch gets distracted because we do have his distracted tag here. Although we didn't invoke a distracted tag. Can we invoke a tag in the middle of a roll? I don't think so, not for consequences. But anyways, gets distracted. We're like pulling on him, trying to get over there, so we don't get there super fast with enough time to be able to get back. So we get into the herbalist hut, we slam the door behind us, at which point we hear the thing outside the door, like walking around. We hear its big old footstep. And as we enter into this herbalist hut, I think in like classic hut with all different kinds of herbs hanging to be dried around all in this hut. Definitely made out of like log cabins, so it's a little bit safe in here, and just tables just full of all different kinds of scrolls. And so now we're in a separate scene a little bit here. Maybe there's something else going on in this herbalist hut. So at this point, we can roll on a couple of words to help us build out this herbalist hut that we're now in. There's an ever-growing danger outside though, so we don't have very much time in here. So after we build this out, we're gonna have to make a check, figure out what we're gonna do. Intense moment though. All right, so we're gonna roll on our PDF to get a couple of words to build out maybe what the inside of the hut a little bit. Camera glitch. Hey, these d6s aren't perfect, all right? That is a 62. Corrupting. Corrupting is our first word? Say what? Okay, next. They keep landing all cocked. If they're cocked, I'm just gonna re-roll them. Okay, 35 is the second word, which is strange. Corrupt and strange. So all this is crazy and unfamiliar to Finn, first of all. Secondly, inside this hut, the corruption has almost completely taken over. In the last episode, if you remember, there's like this weird magical, I don't remember what I exactly called it, but we're gonna imagine it from his unknown magical senses. He can see this magic, and it is all over pretty much everything. And it's like this black, dark magic. And I think as the thing stalks, I imagine as it's stalking around the hut, waiting for us to come out, the magic kind of like pulls towards wherever it is. So we can kind of see where this thing is walking around it, because the magic is a little bit gravitating towards this creature. And that's just a cool visual. I just enjoy that. So now we need to find this scroll, this scroll of light. We don't know shit about scrolls. We don't know nothing about nothing. So we can make us a quick roll just to see if we can see it right off the bat. I think that's a good plan. Plus keen senses, AV, that is a 6 plus 3, which is 9, plus 1, which makes it keen senses, which makes it a 10, which means complete success. Exciting. So we can see this one, so maybe it's only one scroll, right? And it's sitting like on the center of a table or something. So run over and grab it. While we're in here, is there anything else that Finn might think is important to grab? Secondly, no, that's firstly. Is there anything else in here? 50-50, we'll just roll it. It's in the dark. I can't see it, it's in the dark. Was that a 6? 6 and a 1 makes it a 7. So yes, there is some little things he might think to grab. Maybe there's just like a backpack hanging on a hook or something. And so he's just going to grab it. He's going to think, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe she needs this. And so he's just going to grab the backpack, throw it on. Now, second and foremost, how the heck are we going to get out of here? This thing is stalking all around the edges. It's crazy corrupt magic. How are we going to get out of here? You know what? We have our unknown magic tag. We already might be able to uncover the truth of our bloodline here a little bit. And we have been following our magical mark, pulling us to adventure. So I feel like we might be able to improve that too. But if we use this magic, but we invoke the magical pain, maybe as we grab this scroll, it hurts on our arm a little bit, but something is just telling us to use it. And so we're going to use both of our magic mark and our unknown magic. We're going to minus our magical pain. Do we think the corrupt magic in here might affect us as a scene tag? Might corrupt us here? I don't know. We could ask yes or no. Yeah, let's do that. Does the corrupt magic affect what we do? It's in the corner. It has 2 and a 6, which is an 8, so yes. So we're going to get another -1 from this corrupt magic, which is going to make this even cooler if it actually works. Also, an 8 is a yes, but that's kind of a straightforward question. So it is going to affect us. So we're going to get, let's use the scene tag. Boom. Just for funsies. Yeah. Corrupt magic on our scene. So we're going to make this roll, and it's even across the board, but we're invoking our magical pain tag to try to improve our quest here a little bit. We have been following this quest, so we're just going to roll it straight, fingers crossed, and I want to use some different dice because those aren't, here we go. Here it is, we're going to use this one right here. Using the magic scroll. That is a 10! Straight across the board. Complete success. It's not like, I'm still going to call it crazy, because against all odds, we're doing the thing. So he looks down at this scroll and he goes, I can do this. I can do this. I know I have magic in me. I know that I do. I can do that. And with his backpack on his shoulders and his dog behind him, kicks open the door, and the door swings wide, and we see this huge creature just made, I'm going to assume it's just this crazy creature made out of like this corrupt magical mass. There's just like smoke coming out of it. And it's just like coming at us. So whatever this creature actually is, there is so much corrupt magic all around it from whatever it is. We don't know how it got here. And Finn furls open this scroll, and there's a bunch of words on it. Do we want to make it cool, like English words? Or do we want to make it like, it could be like an incantation? Like, this is kind of like world building for us. This is kind of going to set a standard. So like, our spell's going to be like crazy words, like from the past, you know what I mean? Like, utrat, ibrak, you know what I mean? Like gibberish Latin, or are they going to be straight incantations from words that like rhyme, like poems, you know what I mean? Really a tough question. I think this is going to give me a fun opportunity actually to improv on some weird poems and stuff, so I think we're actually going to make it real English. So he whips open this thing, unfurls it, and reads it out loud. And he says, light of dawn and ember bright, drive back shadow, bane, and blight. And then the scroll itself, we're going to call these single-use scrolls because that seems fun to me. So we might be able to have single-use scratchable tags in the future. The scroll itself, like in the same color of the mark on his arm. Maybe the mark like goes up his arm, like the red fiery ember, and links up with the scroll, and the scroll turns into like fiery ash, and then a huge wave of blinding light just goes out and lights up this whole, I think, small little area, maybe like a 30 by 30 area in the central part of town, covering this house and this herbalist hut. It's like a light, a magical light, and the creature is pushed back from the light, and you could see it outside. And then as it lands, its claws dig into the gravel, like as it's pushed back, and then it begins stalking around the circle of, like step by step. And as we see that, we look back over and the door swings wide and we see Wanda standing there. It's so funny, her name is Wanda and she's a magic user. I didn't put that together until now. So that absolutely means that her husband that has gone missing, his name is Cosmo. You cannot change my mind on that. It's 100% Cosmo. I don't care. So, the corrupt magic now tag is totally erased. We're good on that. She approaches us in the center of town and, oh my goodness, my boy, that was fantastic. I knew you had it in you. He's like, what do you mean, had it in me? She's like, come, we must sit together. I must tell you the tale. Maybe what's going on here and what's going on with you. And that's going to end that second scene. So first scene was like building. Second scene was like, the herbalist hut and that action. So now we're going to do our third scene here, talking with this woman. And I'm going to have to just improv up a little bit. Maybe we'll roll some yes or no's. We'll do some words, but I think I'm just going to kind of improv on this a little bit and see where it takes. So they go back into the house, and I think Finn actually takes some time. He takes some herbs from some places, and Finn actually makes them tea. He's the cook, right? He knows a lot about cooking stuff, and he sets tea down for both of them, makes some nice warm tea, and they sit in the chairs, and I think she's a little bit hesitant for a little bit, but she sits in her chair, and she rocks for a little bit, drinks her tea, and Finn sits there a little bit impatient. Like, he knows there's a creature out there still. He knows there's something going on, and he's like, he's starts getting impatient and he's a little anxious, you know. But then eventually she looks at Finn and she said, "That spell you cast outside, where'd you learn it?" And he shakes his head and he's, "I don't know. It just kind of happened." And her brow kind of furrows, you know, squints and looks at him. And "Magic doesn't simply just happen, my boy." "Well, it did for me." "No, what happened to you is you reached for something. It was already inside of you." And Finn looks down at his hands and he looks at the mark on his arm and he's like, "I've never done anything like that before, though." "And yet, you drove back corruption. A corrupted beast, Finn, with light magic." And she leans real forward, gets close to him. He could like smell her old breath. I picture she's got kind of, you know, messed up teeth and bad breath. She's an old witchy lady, you know. And she's like, "Do you understand how rare that is?" And Finn just shakes his head and she goes, "Most folks live their entire lives without seeing real magic. They hear story. They whispers old superstitions. They hang charms over their doors, and they kind of just hope for the best." Her eyes look at all the runes and charms all around her little cabin here. She's like looking at him. "Then there are few of us, the ones that can touch it." He goes, "Like you?" "Like you, Finn." "What does that mean, though?" "It means I've spent decades learning scraps, tricks, wards, protective runes, enough to survive." And she points outside, you know. She's like, "But you pushed back the corrupted beast." Finn goes, "Yeah, well, what even was that thing?" And I'm kind of brainstorming here, and I literally think that there is this corrupted magic that is corrupting regular things in this world, regular stuff, you know? So she goes, "A moose." And Finn goes, "A moose? A moose?" And Finn's like looking at her like she's crazy, but her expression is like extremely serious. And then she goes, "Or it used to be. This corruption doesn't create monsters, Finn. It takes what already exists, twists it. Animals, forests, rivers, sometimes even people. Sometimes the corruption spreads differently in different places, Finnian. Here it is strong enough to poison an entire village. In other places it hides beneath the surface. A sick animal, strange dreams, crops that fall for no reason. Every year, the corruption magic gets worse." "Well, do people know where it came from?" "No." "Can it be stopped?" "I don't know. But that mark," she points to his arm. He's like, "What? Have you seen it before? You said that you have." "Not that exact mark, Finnian, but I've seen marks just like it." "Well, what does it mean?" "What I know is that someone powerful put it there. Tell me exactly how you got it." And then Finn explains about the Duke and the magical consult and the feast. This is all from the origin story, if you guys haven't seen it, but basically explains that his mother was supplying food for a feast because some folks came down from the kingdom to check out the town he was living in, see if it was a good trade network. And Finn overheard a strange conversation in a kitchen and, you know, talks about this stranger that put this mark on him. And then she goes, "I was afraid of that." "What?" "The man that mocked you knew exactly what he was doing." Do you know him?" "No." I love this old lady. "But I know the type, and I know you well enough to tell you this. Your magic there, Finn, isn't normal." "Well, what does that mean?" "It means that your lineage matters. You're connected to something very old." "Royalty?" "Maybe." "A wizard?" "Maybe." "A hero?" "Well, maybe." "Well, none of that is helpful." "But it's honest." "What I do know is this. Whoever your real family was, they had power. And whatever blood runs through your vein may be one of the few things capable of standing up against what's out there. So, you headed toward the kingdom?" "I am, yeah, I guess. Wherever the mark guides me." "Good." And then she, like, the old lady, Wanda, she stands up, she grabs her walking staff, you know, is like leaning up against the wall. She puts on her pink coat next to the green coat that was on the coat hanger. If you know what I mean. She goes, "And you're not going alone." "What?" "I know things that you don't, Finnian. You need answers about your lineage, and I need answers about this corruption. And let me tell you something real good, boy." And her big old finger is all knotted and what have you, points right at him. He goes, "If the blight is spreading the way I fear it is, and sitting in this house waiting to die isn't a plan, and I must find my loved one, for he, I fear, was corrupted by this magic. Very sad. We buried a lot in this town, Finn, but his body is not one that I found, so I fear he's corrupted out there, walking around. We must find him, so I'm joining your adventure. I'm gonna help you, and you're gonna help me." And she sits back down in her rocking chair. Actually, I don't know why she grabbed her coat already. Who cares about that? She sits back down in her chair, and she's like, "Tonight, boy, get some sleep. We must wait for sunrise so we can leave. And tomorrow, we follow whatever path that mark is trying to lead you down." And he's like, "Okay, well, good. Thanks, Wanda. This will be good. This will be good." And it's like the first time his head is at a pillow in a long time, so he like lays his head down and immediately falls asleep. And Patch, you know, lays right up on his legs while he's sleeping, keeping him warm. And that, my friends, is where we're going to end today's episode. Very, very fun. We have a big overarching, I'm trying my best to develop out this world and this quest that Finn is going on, because I hate just like, I don't know, we're following a thing. I just did a character creation for solo RPGs video recently and did a lot of research for that and learned a lot. And so we're actually trying to develop out all these story threads and get Finn a companion who might know a little bit. And so a lot of this is going to help with that. Right now, what do I need from you guys? Well, we need theme card ideas for Wanda. Yes, we do. Look, here it is. There are some really cool theme creation things all over the place online, all right, where you can actually make out full characters with full themes and other kinds of stuff. If you want to, you can make out a full theme card and send it to us in the Discord, all right? Let me see it. Could be really fun to see. You could make one for Wanda. You could help me remake one for Finnian Ashe. You could send it over if you want to be that involved. If not, also, you could absolutely just leave theme card ideas or tag ideas in the comments for Wanda, because in the next episode, hopefully, we're going to build Wanda. It's probably going to be another 2 weeks before we do Legend in the Mist, because I want to give you guys enough time to do the things, and I'm more comfortable doing it this way, so that's why we're doing it. So you've got some time, have some fun, send me some tags in the comments. Let's build Wanda, because we're going to make a fellowship. That should be fun. Yeah. What a fun episode. Very intense. Yeah, and I didn't do a single detailed action. I think detailed actions are one of the things that muck up the works a lot for me while I'm playing. A little bit. I like doing quick actions and moving things along quicker. You know what I mean? It's more fun for me. So maybe I'll just keep doing that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. But for now, my friends, that's it. I have been Turk. Take a seat on the couch by subscribing, or at least until you find yourselves on the quest to end the magical corruption yourselves. Roll on that, weirdos, and I'll see you next time. Toodaloo. Oh man, and those of you guys who watch the Willy the Wizard campaign, just like imagine if like Willy the Wizard is also chasing down corruption and his campaign and this campaign are connected. Dude, couch lore. That's what I'm talking about. Could be really cool. I don't know. All right.